When you give rewards to your child during potty training, honestly just depends on what stage of potty training you're in. So research shows that you want to give rewards for going in the potty every time at first, but then you actually fade it out over time as they progress and learn how to do it on their own. Only problem is, how do you know when to fade out rewards and how to fade out rewards? It's the top mistake I see parents make when they're trying to potty train. Besides not teaching their kid to let them know when they have to go potty, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But back to rewards. If you get it wrong as far as fading them out, it's gonna make potty training just last so much longer. So let's talk about how you can avoid that problem so that you can have quick potty training. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya and I'm a behavior analyst. I work with parents to help them navigate potty training and difficult toddler behavior using behavioral strategies that are based in science. And in case you're wondering why you're in my kitchen, most of my videos are me just kind of talking, and I figure that's probably not super interesting. So I'm gonna make some pumpkin whoopie pies because it's November, it's pumpkin time. Let me know if you like this format better than my other formats down below, and I'll also include the recipe down there as well. It's by The Preppy Kitchen, which I've made other things by him and they're delicious, so I'm excited. Okay, so here we go. Full disclosure, this is the first time me doing this, so I have a feeling it's gonna be really hard to talk about potty training and focus on the recipe. But you know, we're in this together. Just know I've got some notes on the side just to keep me on track. So if I look down, that's what's happening. All right, so I'm assuming that if you're here, you have a plan for potty training and you have your rewards planned. If you don't, check out this video, unless it's over here, because I always forget which way to point. Because that one has some tips on how to choose the best rewards to make potty training easier. Sorry about the thump. So initially what you want to do is get your rewards together. It can be either one or multiple. Again, the video that I mentioned gives more tips on that. But once you've got it set up, you want to give a reward every time that your child either pees or poops in the potty. I also encourage the parents that I work with to do partial success rewards as well. So what that means is if the kid starts to have an accident but you can get them to the bathroom in time to finish, you should also give a reward for that because at least they got some of it in there. I mean, the main thing is to let them know, hey, anytime your pee or your poop goes in the toilet, you're gonna get a reward because that's the right thing to do. That's what you're trying to do. Strengthen the behavior that you wanna see more by providing rewards for it. I don't know how many cups I put in here. It's supposed to be 3. Are we at 3? Or are we at 2? I'm gonna have to stop the video and check. This is messed up. Okay, I double checked and this is the 3rd one. So we're making headway here. What was I talking about? Let's see. Provide a reward every time. Yes. So you're gonna provide a reward every single time that your child goes potty in the toilet until they're at the point where they're barely having any accidents. So like maybe 1 to 2 accidents in a day. That's, if it's any more than that, then keep going with the rewards. And again, there's a whole rewards video on what to do if you've been doing the same reward for a bit and it hasn't been working and what to do. But if you've gotten to the point where your child is now only having like 1 to 2 accidents per day, don't mind me, I'm just opening up my iPad with the recipe here. Shoot, this is really hard. Okay, so they're only having 1 to 2 accidents a day. So that means that that's not too bad. It'll get better as time goes on. But obviously keep in mind, depending on their age, they may continue to have accidents here and there. It's not gonna be like 100%. No. So yeah, if they've gotten to the point where they're only having 1 to 2 accidents a day, hopefully just 1, it really depends on the kid. I would say that if your kid is at the point where that's happening for at least anywhere between 4 to 7 days straight, do what you're comfortable with. What I can say is I try not to rush things. Like, I'd rather give a reward every single time for 7 straight days before fading, if that makes me feel more comfortable knowing, okay, he's got it down. But saying that, I have worked with kids who have it down after like literally 4 days, and we're like, okay, we don't need to, we can fade it. So it depends on the kid, the number of accidents they're having. If this kid's only having an accident every other day, if not less, fade after 4 days. Just kind of depends. Sorry, a lot of it is kind of, everything I do is individualized, so it's based on the child and their progress. So you're going to hear a lot of that. Sorry, but you know, you can play with it, see what happens. So in order to fade the rewards, you can do one of 2 things. And before I do that, I'm going to take a look at this real quick. I'll never get this done if I don't actually put things in here. This is really hard. All right, so you got 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, back to your choices. Thank you for being patient with me. That one's just a lot. I would have had to keep talking about potty training as I looked at like all these tiny little ingredients, and it's too much. Let me know down below if it's obnoxious though. I just won't do it again. It's fine. I guess I could have just done it as like, you know, like a little video that goes over while I'm talking, but you know, I have one phone camera to work with. Sorry about all the random blabbing today too, but this is new territory for me. Okay, so your 2 choices for fading out rewards are 1, to fade out the amount of the reward. So this is gonna look different depending on what your reward is. If your reward is like a snack, some parents do like a donut or a muffin, whatever it is, you would decrease that every time that they go to the bathroom or every day. Just kind of see how it goes. If you fade it too fast, accidents are going to start happening again. Just letting you know now. So if you want, just do it by day. So like, you know, you're first giving 100% of the snack, but let's say when you decide to start fading it, on that next day, you're just going to give like 75%. Obviously, you're going to have to eyeball it. You don't have to be precise with it, but you get what I mean. Obviously, the next day after that, it's going to be half. Day after that, it's going to be 25%, and then none. As I mentioned in my rewards video, you want to make sure that you're giving a lot of praise along with the actual snack, because once you fade the snack, the praise is still there, and hopefully that's enough. For most kids it is. It's really not that big of a deal. You know how it is. If you throw a party, if you have a potty song, all the fun things that you do sometimes are enough, especially once you fade things out. I was supposed to put the pumpkin puree in a different bowl, but I didn't because I'm distracted. So we're just gonna keep going with it. I mean, what? It has you mix things in the other bowl and then put them in this one. Obviously, people who bake know more than me and know why that needs to happen. I'm sure it's probably to integrate the ingredients better, but what's done is done. So we're just gonna do it all in one bowl and see what happens. All right, I need 2 cups of light brown sugar, and I learned that you can put little marshmallows in with it, and it's supposed to keep it from getting all hard and stuff. I haven't really had that issue. I put mine in mason jars and they're sealed, and it's, but everybody else is like, no, that's not good enough. So I will report that the marshmallows seem to be working so far, in case you needed a baking tip while you're here for potty training tips. Who knew this was gonna happen? Anyway, back to the rewards and fading them. If you are giving rewards that are like an iPad or a specific toy, when I have parents do that, I usually have them give that reward for a certain amount of time. So, you know, if they go potty, then they can have the iPad for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It's your life, you know, live it. But what you're gonna do once you start feeding it is just decrease the amount of time. So, you know, if you're giving it for like 20 minutes, then you can decrease it by 5 minutes every day. It really just depends on your kid, because some kids are super stubborn, and if they notice that you're doing it, like they'll start having accidents on purpose and things like that. It's kind of a protest. You know how they do. So when I have a kid like that, I will fade that sucker out so slowly so the kid doesn't notice as much. I mean, eventually there will come a day where the kid's like, wait a minute, I used to get it for 20 minutes. Next thing I know, it's 5. How did we get here? But yeah, that's gonna make it more painless for you. So it's up to you. You can do it quickly, you can give it a shot. If it's a disaster, just go back a step. That's another thing to point out. If your kid starts having more accidents, then that is a sign that you need to go back a step. Okay, we've got to give it longer. I know it's a pain in the butt, but but you kind of have to base it on your child's behavior. That's going to let you know what you need to do. Another fun baking fact is that you should measure liquids in one of these measure cup thingies, and then use these for the dry ingredients, because supposedly they measure differently. Don't know if it's true, but I'll trust the chefs that say so. I'm not a chef, so I do not know. Next up, 2 large eggs. It didn't say they had to be room temperature, so here we are. I'm sure it'll be fine. And last but not least, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Okay. Love it. What I'm not excited about is mixing all of this by hand, so I don't make as much noise with the mixing thing. Not a mixing thing. It's a mixer. I know the word, I swear. It's really hard to talk at the same time that you're focusing on other things. But you're here for potty training, so let's keep doing that. Actually, I'm gonna mix this real quick, and then I'm gonna talk, because I have a feeling that all you're hearing is a lot of squelchy noises. I'm gonna stop that now. Okay, we're mixed. I feel like this is a good time to jump in and ask you to please like the video if you enjoy it. And, you know, any kind of interaction you have by commenting or anything really does help me out, and I'd appreciate it so I can keep making more videos. All right, as far as this goes, I think we're good. It looks well incorporated. I have made this before, so at least I'll know when I make it if putting everything in the same bowl was an absolute disaster, and I will let you know. Another fun tip I discovered on my own, baking related, is if you just want to like wash a whisk. If you want to wash a whisk quickly, you know how the stuff gets all stuck on each tiny little wire. I just whisk it in a little bowl of water in the sink, and it helps get all the gunk out, and it's easier to clean. Obviously use soap and water with a sponge afterwards, but you know what I mean. Get all the gunk off first. I want to make sure that I don't forget to mention that, again, it's okay to, you know, take longer than a day in between fading the rewards. I have had plenty of kids where I have decreased at a level, you know, from like half of the reward to a fourth, or 15 minutes with the reward to literally like 8 minutes with the reward. And I've done that for 3 to 4 days straight before I continued fading. The main thing is making sure that those accidents don't get out of control, because that's a sign that it's not working. So keep that in mind as you go forward. And as far as teaching your child how to tell you when they have to go to the bathroom, I mean, that's just another major one. That's the 2 major things Number one, fading those rewards so that they start doing it automatically. But number two, they need to be able to tell you. I understand that you're at home and you're like, why? He can go to the bathroom whenever he or she wants. But the issue is when you're out in public. When you're in the middle of a Target and your 3-year-old doesn't know where that bathroom is, they better be able to tell you. Or if you're in the car. I had a little one that I was working with his parents on potty training with a couple years back. And I remember she called me and said that they were, this was during the pandemic, so they couldn't go in, but they were at a Chick-fil-A line to pick up some food. And thankfully they hadn't ordered yet because all of a sudden he started screaming potty. And thankfully they just lived down the street, so they were able to drive him home really quickly without their Chick-fil-A. Because, you know, 3-year-olds, they can't hold it that long. And they got him home and he made it. But it's just an example of when it's really important for your child to be able to tell you, unless you want to deal with an accident in the car. Not to mention, obviously, preschool, kindergarten, all those things that come with it, or daycare maybe even. So I'll be making a video for that for you soon, hopefully in the next month or so. I always have like a couple of topics that I'm making videos on, and I try to kind of interchange them in case, you know, potty training isn't what you're interested in. Or hopefully you are, because you're here, aren't you? But other people, they can tune in for the next video on a different topic. But I do always come back to it. I tend to just kind of interchange them. Intersperse them? Intersperse them. And down below, I'll go ahead and include a free guide that I've got for picking rewards for your child for potty training. Again, that's also linked in the video that I have for it as well. But in case you're interested, you can check it out down below. I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, take care.